Hello students, today we are going to start a new topic that is lipids. Till now we were discussing about the carbohydrates, right? So this lipid is also one of the content present into the plants only, right? Even lipid is also the part of human body. The lipids it will be also there in the human, but it is also the essential parts for the uh, plants also, right? So how, what are the plants they are containing the lipids, and how we are going to use it in the pharmaceutical field for the medicinal purpose and for other purpose, right? So let us discuss what are the different content of lipids and how they are extracting from the plants and what are the uses. So when we talk about the lipids, generally these are the large and a diverse group of naturally occurring organic compounds, right? And that are related by their solubility in non-polar organic solvents, right? For example, when we talk about non-polar organic solvents, these are the nothing but ether, chloroform, acetone, and benzene, right? So what is their solubility in these types of solvent, right? They are related to that, that we are going to discuss. And these are generally insoluble in water. That is their property, that they are insoluble in water but they are soluble in non-polar organic solvent. There are great structural variety among the lipids and comprises of fixed oils, fats, and waxes, right? The lipids of physiological importance for human have the following major functions. When we talk about the importance for human being, right? They serves as a structural component of biological membrane. Whatever the biological membranes it is there in the anatomy of the body, they are serving the structural component. The structure it is responsible for each and every cells and tissues, that is because of lipids. They provides energy reserves, the predominantly in the form of triglycerols, right? They are reserved energy, they can be metabolized and provide the ATP ADP, what we have discussed in the biochemistry. Both lipids and derivatives serves as a vitamins and hormones, right? So here also in vitamins and hormones field also they are playing major role. Lipophilic bile acid add in lipid solubilization. So that is the fourth one, that for the lipid solubilization lipophilic bile acid add it is used, right? So these are the physiological important for the human being. So how we are going to collect it from the different plants. So let us discuss different types of the lipids. When we talk about fixed oils and fats, that's what we have discussed here, right? There are great structural variety among the lipids and comprise of fixed oils, fats, and waxes. So these three we are going to discuss now. Fixed, what are the differences between these three? Right. So when we talk about the fixed oils and fats are obtained from plants and animal. Of course, these are obtained from both the kingdom, plant kingdom and animal kingdom. They are rich in calories and in plant source. They are present mostly in seeds, different seeds like castor oil seeds, the castor seeds are there, right? So on those seeds we are going to extract it out as a reserve substance. And in animals they are present in subcutaneous and retroperitoneal tissues. These are the location where in animal body they can be obtained. They differ only according to their melting point, and chemically they belongs to the same group, right? So when each which point at which temperature they're going to melt, that is only difference we are going to find out in fixed oil and fats, right? So when we talk about this, if the substance is liquid at particular temperature, that is 15.5 to 16.5 degree centigrade, in this temperature, if any substance it is liquid, it is called fixed oils. Remember, temperature in this particular range of the temperature, if it is liquid form, it means it is fixed oil. But solid or semi-solid at the above temperature. Above means this above temperature is called fat, right? So that is only difference in the fixed oil and fat. What is their form in the particular temperature range? Accordingly, we are going to decide कि this is the fixed oil or this is the fat. They are made from two kind of molecule. First one is the glycerol. What is glycerol? A type of alcohol with a hydroxyl group on each of its three carbon, right? That is called glycerol. And three fatty acids joined by dehydration synthesis. Okay, since there are three fatty acids attached, these are known as triglycerides. These fatty acids may be saturated, monosaturated, and polysaturated. Okay. The term saturated, monosaturated, and polysaturated refers to the number of hydrogens attached to the hydrocarbon tails of fatty acids. What is the number of this hydrogen atom which is attached in the hydrocarbon tails, head and tails, right? That is the fatty acid as compared to the number of double bond between carbon atoms in the tail. So if you see the structure, right, what is the number of hydrogen attached to the hydrocarbon tails, right, of fatty acid as compared to number of double bond, because carbon valency is 4, so number of double bond, how much it is in between the carbon atoms in the tail. Accordingly, we are going to decide whether the particular fats are saturated, monosaturated, or polysaturated. Fats are mostly from the animal sources, right? Is a single bond between the carbon in their fatty acid tail. Thus, all carbon are also bonded to the maximum number of hydrogen possible, right? How much it is bonding accordingly. Since the fatty acids in these triglycerides contain the maximum possible amount of hydrogens, this would be called saturated fatty acids. The hydrocarbon chains in these fatty acids are thus fairly straight and can pack closely together, making these fats solid at room temperature. When it is solid at room temperature, then it will be like that. Oils, mostly from the plant sources, have some double bonds between the sum of the carbon in the hydrocarbon tails, causing bends or kinks in the shape of the molecule. Those who are obtaining from the plant sources like castor oil, castor seeds, right? So what happened here? Some double bond between the carbon atoms at hydrocarbon tails, that is causing bends, or that is also known as kinks in the shape of molecule. When we see about the shape of the molecule, it is going to be like that. Because of some carbons share double bonds, they are not bonded to the many hydrogens as they could if they were not double bonded to each other. Therefore, these all are called unsaturated fatty acids, or unsaturated fats, because of the kink or that bends in the hydrocarbon tails. Unsaturated fats cannot pack us closely together, making them liquid at room temperature. So that is only because of this chemical complexity they are forming the different state, solid, liquid, or semi-solid. When we see the different examples of saturated and unsaturated fatty acids, we can see here how fatty acid, suppose it is butyric acid. So what is the source? Butter fat. The butters you all know that, but non-butter, like, so in that butter fat there will be the fatty acids named as a butyric acid. When we see the coconut oil, that is the coconut fruit, from there we are getting the coconut oil. And coconut oil also it is available, parachutes and so many brands it is. So in that, the fatty acid which is present, that is known as lauric acid, right? That is the one of the fatty acid present in the coconut oil. Coming to the palm oil, in palm oil, myristic acid is the fatty acid which is there into the palm oil, which is obtained from palm trees, different, right? Arachis oil or sesame oil, right? Arachis, it is one of the plant sesame, right? That from there also we are getting from their seeds, we are extracting the oils, that in that there will be the fatty acid that is known as palmitic acid. Okay, coming to the arachis oil alone, if we talk about, there will be the stearic acid and mustard oil, right? Mustard, the black mustard also it is there. In that, from that also we are getting the oil that is highly viscous oil. In that we are going to get the arachidic acid, that is the one of the fatty acid present in the mustard oil. When we talk about unsaturated fatty acid, right? So that's what we have seen into the how the hydrogen is attaching with the carbon atoms and with the double bond, so accordingly they are going to become unsaturated. So in that, when we talk about example linseed oil, linseed seeds, from there we are extracting the oil. In that oil there will be the unsaturated fatty acid that is known as linoleic acid, right? Sesame oil or sunflower oil. Sunflower oil, of you know, right? Sesame also, right? So from sunflower seeds, whenever we are extracting the oil, that is known as sunflower oil. From there, there will be the linoleic acid, name of fatty acid present. Arachis oil, in arachis oil, already we have seen the stearic acid, that is saturated fatty acid. When we talk about the unsaturated fatty acid, that is the arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid, it is one of the unsaturated fatty acid present in arachis oil. When we talk about sunflower oil and corn oil, there will be the oleic acid, name of the unsaturated fatty acid that is present. So these are the example you should give into your answer. Coming to the analytical parameters of fats and oils. When we are going to analyze, right? Identification, I can say, right? So what are the parameter we can adopt analytical parameters so that we are going to confirm that the given sample of oils or fats are pure one or adulterated one. So coming to the first one, iodine value. As the name indicates, we are going to identify the how much iodine it is present in the given sample of oil. The iodine value is the mass of iodine in grams that is consumed by 100 gram of fats or oils, right? We are going to take the 100 grams of fats or 100 ml around the oil, and if they are how much iodine they are going to consume, the quantity, mass means quantity of iodine in a gram, in a gram again, how much it is going to consume, right? So that is going to be the iodine value for that particular oil or fat. The iodine solution is violet in color, all of you know, right? And any chemical group in the substance that react with iodine will make the color disappear at precise concentration or at exactly concentration and quantity if you are taking. And if any substance which is there in your oil or in your fat, if it is reacting, the iodine color will what happen, it will disappear. That's what we are doing in the titration, right? The amount of iodine solution thus required to keep the solution violet, that is measures of the amount of iodine sensitive reactive groups in it. It is a measure of extent of saturation, and higher the iodine value, the more chance of rancidity, right? So that's what we are doing into the titration method. In burette we are putting the potassium hydroxide, then we are taking the oil along with the suitable solvent, and we are doing the titration, and we are seeing the color changes, right? Then we are identifying how much, what was the initial value of the burette and what is the final volume of the burette. Then we are minusing it, and that there is a formula, and we are finding out the iodine value. Likewise, the titration method only we are doing for all the parameters in the, suppose second one, saponification value. As the name is saponify, how much quantity, right? So the saponification value is the number of milligram of potassium hydroxide KOH required to saponify 1 gram of fats under the condition specified, right? Here this quantity you should remember how much, 1 gram of fat sample, right? If that how much it is going to saponify, right, number of milligram of potassium hydroxide to saponify the 1 gram of sample or 1 gram of fats or 1 gram of oil. It is a measure of the average molecular weight of all the fatty acids present in the particular sample. Suppose if you are taking the coconut oil, right? In this coconut oil, lauric acid is there into the as a saturated fatty acid. So in coconut oil, how much quantity of potassium hydroxide which you have kept into the burette, that is going to saponify the 1 gram or 1 ml of fat if you have taken. So in the present of what is the molecular weight present in the fatty acid, lauric acid, that is known as, so that will going to saponify. Coming to the third one, hydroxyl value. The hydroxyl value is the number of milligram of potassium hydroxide or KOH required to neutralize acetic acid combined to hydroxyl groups when 1 gram of sample is acetylated, right? So again here the same thing, same method, burette, pipette and titration we are going to do, and that we are going to keep the again potassium hydroxide in the burette, and here how much it is required, because since it is base, so it is neutralizing the acetic acid which is combined to the hydroxyl group. So in 1 gram sample how much it is required, how much it is consumed when we are releasing from the burette, then final value, initial value, final value, that we are going to decide. Coming to the fourth one, ester value. Here the milligram of potassium hydroxide required to saponify the esters combined in the 1 gram of sample, right? Fourth one, unsaponifiable matter present. The principle is the saponification of the fats or oil by boiling under reflux with the ethanolic potassium hydroxide solution. The reflux assembly, that round bottom flask will be there, condenser will be there. So if your reflux and subjecting for reflux, what will happen? Unsaponifiable matters which is there is then extracted from the soap solution by diethyl ether, and the solvent is evaporated, and then the residue is dried and wet. So we are going to find out how much matter it is unsaponifiable which is present into the sample or in the drug. Acid value, it is the amount of free acid present in fat as measured by the milligram of potassium hydroxide. Again KOH you should remember, right? KOH in milligram, how much needed to the neutralize it, because it is acid. Acid means it is acidic value. So how KOH is what? Base. So how much it is required to neutralize it, as the glycerides in fats slowly decompose, the acid value increases, right? So that's what, how much the how what is the type of acid present in that you are going to required to neutralize the potassium hydroxide, that is one of the base, that is going to be the acid value for the particular oil and sample. Peroxide value. When we talk about peroxide value, one of the most widely used test for the oxidative rancidity. Here, peroxide value is a measure of the concentration of peroxides and hydroperoxides formed in the initial stage of lipid oxidation. Lipid undergo oxidation. So in initial stage, these are the going to form. So that we are going to find out the milli equivalents of peroxides per kg of the fat. In each kg, what is the quantity are measured by titration with iodine ion. Again, titration we are going to do with iodine ion. So peroxide value are not static. The static and the care must be taken in handling and testing samples. because it is forming at the initial stage, right? So it is difficult to provide a specific guideline relating to the peroxide value to rancidity. High peroxide value are a definite indication of the rancid fat, but the moderate value may be the result of the depletion of peroxide after reaching high concentration, since it is uh, formed in the initial stage of lipid oxidation. So lipid has to go under oxidation, and then we are going to find it out. That's what they are the specific guidelines relating to this. It is difficult since it is the ongoing process. The third one, that is the waxes, right? We have discussed the fatty acids and oils. When we talk about the waxes, that is one of the lipid. What happened here? Waxes are the esters of long chain fatty acids and alcohols. Okay. The fatty acids are same in wax and fats, but the differences being the saponification. The saponification, it is going to be different. But the same types of fatty acid we are going to find out in the fats also, which we have discussed already, and in these waxes also. The waxes are saponified only by the alcoholic alkali, right? But the fats may be saponified either by alcoholic alkali or by aqueous alkali also. That is the difference between the fats and waxes. Along with fatty acids, it also contains monohydroxyl alcohols of high molecular weight, especially cetyl alcohols and methyl alcohols and maricyl alcohols. These three types of alcohol which the high molecular weight. Sometimes cholesterol and the phytosterols are also present, right? Since it is obtained from the plants also, right? As such, they are not suitable as a food because hyd hydrolyzing enzyme of wax are not present in the system, into the digestive system. That's what these are not suitable as a food because they have to go hydrolyze. This hydrolyzing enzyme of the wax, it is not present, right? So that's what it is not eatable. Waxes are widely distributed in nature, not only in the plant, it in animal also, and in many other sources available. The leaves and fruits of many plants have wax coatings that we could see, right? Which may be the protect them from the dehydration and small predators. Okay, pest or we can say, right? So that is protection layer wax. If it is the wax coating, the natural wax coating, this is going to protect them to the plants and fruits. We can see that even in the apple also you are going to get in the many other fruits which is there, they will be having waxes, right? The features of birds and the fur of some animals have similar coating. Even in so many birds also, if you are holding them, you may getting the wax in your hand, right? Which serves a water repellent and spermaceti, beeswax, the carnauba wax, etc. are the example of wax. So spermaceti, it is the marine source, right? Beeswax from the bees, we are getting bees, honey bees, right? And the carnauba wax, and these are the different example of wax, right? So under lipid, the three things we are supposed to remember: the fixed oil, fats, and the waxes, right? So there is a difference in these three in terms of their state, right? It 15.5 to 16.5, they are in liquid and solid, semi-solid, what form they are. Accordingly, we are going to decide these lipids, whether it is fixed oil, whether it is fat, whether it is waxes, right? And there are differences into their examples since they are obtained from different sources, right? So when we are going to analyze them or identifying them, there are so many analytical parameters like iodine value, acid value, saponification value, peroxide value. These are the values we are going to find out with the help of potassium hydroxide and the different other chemicals, right? When we are going undergoing the titration, we can find out, since these are the liquid samples, so we cannot go for the test tube test, right? Because it required a titration types of test, analytical test, then we are going to confirm whether these particular lipids are pure one, authenticated one, or without adulterated it is there. Because since so many oils like castor oil, coconut oil, or palm oil, linseed oil, groundnut oil, oils we are using, right? For the different purpose, even for our food also, different refined oil we are sun drop, gold drop, sun drop, right? Fortune, all those oil we are using. Since these are the certified and it is coming from company, we are not going for any test and simply we are using because it has been already tested. But when you are working into the laboratory and if any crude oil you have got from the different sources, from the direct from the farmer, from direct from the any other suppliers, so when we are going to analyze the in quality control parameters, so you have to adopt these tests, then we are going to confirm that the given sample of drug it is pure one, right? So this is the theme